Man, welcome back to the Fake Stuff Podcast. Back at it again, doing what we do. And let's talk about the fake stuff. When we're going to give you 8 losers from this NFL draft. Craftman in the building. What's going on, Craftman?
Oh, man. These are my favorite episodes when I get to be a little pessimistic about stuff. When I get to double hate on some of these players. But I don't want to be like that. I really don't want to be like that. It's just my personality, and I can't change it. So I guess it's just the way I have to be.
Hey, people like the negativity, man, and when you're just hating and bashing on stuff. We really ain't going to be like that, but we are going to tell you why they are some losers from the NFL draft. Craftman, I'm ready to dive right on in, man. You ready?
I'm ready.
First one, obviously, Rhamondre Stevenson. I mean, he's always got a little iffiness on his name every year. So obviously with Travion Henderson coming in, Craftman's guy, Craftman would have taken him real high. Heck, I've seen some stuff in that Twitter world, Craftman. I like to look in that Twitter world. Travion Henderson. Some people are wondering if he should go as high as 102. I mean, some people are excited about Travion Henderson, and I don't blame them. I'm trying to get him in my home league. You know what I'm saying? I think the PPR. Everything. I think he could workhorse a little bit, PPR. But Rhamondre, obviously, when a team brings in a running back with some draft capital, it's never good. So, loser, Rhamondre Stevenson.
Yeah, I remember a time, what was it, 2 years ago, where Rhamondre was going in the first round of some redraft stuff, and he was ranked like RB5 or 6. And those times have just got to be over. I just find it weird that I hate on teams like the Panthers, but then Travion gets drafted to the Patriots, and I'm all for it. And I guess I'm probably one of them guys with Twitter on this one, where I think Travion could definitely pay off being the 102 in a rookie draft. So I saw a quote the other day where Vrabel, or I don't know if it was Vrabel or somebody from the organization, said they look at Henderson as he could be a 3-down back. So, right. I mean, that's just even worse for Rhamondre. And Rhamondre had already gotten to the doghouse with the past coaching staff with his fumbling issues. So if you see Rhamondre come out there and fumble in week 1 or week 2, it's going to be even more pain for Rhamondre owners. So if you sold him before the draft, congratulations, because you probably got a deal done. But I think Henderson, he's going to be running the backfield for a little while.
One of my favorite things about draft season, about playing in my home league, is your player surviving the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the big thing that you're watching out for. And everybody in the league that's most important to you, like in your dynasty leagues, what players are on each team. You're like, oh man, he didn't survive. So I just love it, man. That's really what I like about the NFL draft. So Rhamondre, obviously, he did not survive the draft. I think maybe you could see him at the beginning of the year. They start the guy who's been there for a little while.
Maybe.
So I think that's maybe. But we'll see. I wouldn't bet on it, though. Big loser, though. Big loser. Let's move on to another big loser. Najee Harris. I mean, this was pretty obvious to me because he did sign a 1-year deal with the Chargers. I've been calling his decline every year. Every year I've had something to say about Najee since he had that year with Big Ben. I mean, I would have still liked Najee on his teams if Big Ben was still there throwing 100 dump-offs to him. You know what I'm saying? But he got 1 year with the Chargers. And what the Chargers do, they go and invest first-round draft capital on Amarion Hampton. And, I mean, it's Amarion Hampton's – it's his world, you know what I'm saying? Najee's just there. It's a good, capable backup the Chargers just landed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good running back room. Like, I would like to have Najee Harris as my backup running back. So – that's the way the Chargers roll. I respect the way they did it, and I'm glad Amarion Hampton. I actually think Najee will probably get some work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just over. He's definitely going to get some work with Jim Harbaugh, but Big loser, big loser. I mean, especially when you just think about what it could have been. Like if this dude Najee would have survived the NFL draft, his role would have been he would have got all the carries for the Chargers. He would have been inefficient and all that again, but he would have got all the work. So it's like think about what it could have been. He was hoping to survive. He didn't survive. And now what it is, just crazy how it just changes so fast. But big loser.
Yeah. I just remember Levi being in this garage that I'm in right now, watching the draft and bragging to somebody how he has Najee Harris on his fantasy team and how he has Jaylen Warren and how they're both going to be RB1s this next year. And then, wham! Wait till it's over before you start talking. But the bad thing about this episode is, for some people that are listening, you might have like 4 or 5 names on this episode on your dynasty team, and you might have just took a really big lick this year. But Najee's going to have to resort to being a change of pace back, which he's never been in his career. So the only value he has right now as far as a top end running back would just be injury related. So, but I agree with you, Matt. The opportunity was going to be incredible if they didn't draft Hampton, and it looked really good. But it was just kind of a backbreaker if you had him on your fantasy team. There's a big difference between a running back getting drafted in the first round and a running back getting drafted in the 3rd or 4th or later.
Right. Just one of those good handcuffs, a nice little handcuff, because he'll get some work if right immediately if something happens to Hampton. But dang, I didn't even mean to click it. But Cole Kmet, tight end for the Bears. I just wanted to add this one in there pretty much because the Bears took another tight end in the top 10 or whatever it was. So I don't know necessarily if Cole Kmet takes a hit or what. I don't know what it's going to look like because there's just so many weapons there, and I think Cole Kmet can still, catch the ball, still do his thing. So I'm just saying, I think Cole Kmet, his role is still there, but big loser when somebody takes a tight end in the top 10. It's like, and he's a receiving tight end, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it would have been a little bit different if it was Tyler Warren, you know what I'm saying? If it was Warren, maybe a little different, but it's just the same style. So loser in this situation.
Yeah, he's just a straight up loser. There isn't no way around it. I'm so glad that I didn't trade for him because me and Noah were going back and forth about I kind of wanted Cole Kmet, but this pick of Colston Loveland at the number 10 spot in the NFL draft just keeps surprising me. It's just a weird thing to do for the Bears. I felt like Cole Kmet was a decent player. He was probably, in the top 16 or he's in the top half of tight ends in the league. I didn't think he was garbage. So we talked about Brenton Strange in the last episode. He survived the draft, but Cole Kmet didn't. Like this, if a team needs a tight end, it should have been the Jaguars that went out and, made a move and drafted a tight end. I know they took Hunter in the first, so it wasn't possible to get Loveland, but it's just a weird situation. But Cole Kmet's he's done. He don't have much fantasy value left unless he gets moved, which could happen.
Yeah, that damn tight end landscape. So loser, man. Just a couple of years where I thought about trading for Kmet and then didn't, and was glad I didn't. So. Man, let's move on to the next guy because this is my guy. He's on Craftman's team, but this is my guy right here, man. Craftman, I always get on every year and say this and that about Romeo Doubs. I call him Doubs, and he's had some nice stints for the Packers and stuff like this. But them taking a wide receiver in the first round, and I've been done said it's a hodgepodge of guys and stuff like that. But I think if you just think about it, I think Romeo Doubs is a solid wide receiver, but I don't think he's just as good as Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed. And some people say Wicks, you know what I'm saying? Wicks has his games where he is explosive, but I think Doubs kind of it just feels like he's slightly getting faded out of this situation a little bit. And that's a guy that I like. So I was high on him last year. it didn't really work out for him last year. But I think, and they drafted the Packers drafted another wide receiver, did they not? In the fourth round?
Yeah, they in the third round. Yeah.
So I mean, if there's a loser on that roster, I think anybody could elevate themselves and do good on that roster. But if there was one to fade off of it, it's definitely Doubs.
I do got to ask you something. Who do you think the 3 wide receivers that line up on the first snap of the season are for the Green Bay Packers?
It's just go look something like Golden. It's gonna be. I mean, what's the word on Watson? He's out.
Yeah, he's out for maybe the year. He tore his ACL like really late, like week 14, 15, something like that.
Golden, Reed, and heck, Doubs will probably be out there, man. Feels like it. I mean, it's eventually week 1, but I don't know. I mean,
depends on if Wicks can take the step up and catch the ball. If Wicks can catch the ball.
Or the other rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's competition there. Like, it's there. Yeah. So, and even if he wins that spot, you're still the third option. Or it looks like you're the third option. So, fading him. Not that many people are high on him anyways. But this is just my guy to take a loss on the L. So, Romeo Doubs.
And this is a guy before the NFL draft where on your dynasty team, you're probably, you might could even ship out and get a 3rd round pick. I mean, you're not getting a whole lot for Romeo Doubs, but like you said, this might just be he might get moved to another team. Truthfully, he's been rumored in a lot of trade talks. So this is the guy the Packers move on from. He's going to be the one. So him and Jair have been the two main guys that they've been talking about trading. So kind of thought they might have done it during the draft, but I just don't see him and his guardian hat, man. He's got concussion problems too. So if he's on your team, are you holding him? I guess you're just going to hold him on your bench and kind of see.
Yeah. I think you just hold him unless there's somebody you want to take a shot on in the 3rd. Just because, I mean, this draft just doesn't feel – there's not really guys that I like. I don't know. I like to take my shots, but it just doesn't feel like there's too many options to go around. And the guys that are options, it feels like it's so obvious. Everybody's picking them up. So it's like, I'd hold on to Doubs. I mean, that's all you can do. But, I mean, he's probably closer to, like, dropping off your roster than, trading for anything. Him. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll just have to see. I mean, I could be sitting here just saying a bunch of crap, but it could all work out for Doubs. But I don't know.
I don't know if you should drop him because I think there's a real chance that he's not on this team next year for sure. He already got in trouble last year for conduct, detrimental to the team, got suspended for a game. So nobody knows what that was about. But yeah, he'll end up on another team next year for sure. I kind of foresee that happening.
All right, one big loser for
my
me.
God. My God.
Craftman's guy. I don't even know if you even agree with this crap, man. Do you agree he's a loser? To me, he is Emeka Egbuka coming in, and I've already stated how I feel about the whole situation. I think the whole landing spot is good, and I think it's just he's going to be the wide receiver too. He's going to take over that whole job. So I think Chris Godwin, he did sign. He is hurt, and he did re-sign. I just still think, as far as the NFL draft goes, I just think he's losing because now he's got to get up there and compete with even a younger guy who was pretty good, along with McMillan, who was pretty good last season too. So big loser for me for the Buccaneers to invest in a wide receiver, which I was surprised with. I didn't really think they'd go to wide receiver because of what the moves they made in the offseason. So loser to me is Chris Godwin.
I think Chris Godwin's going to have a decent year this upcoming year. It's definitely not going to be what it was at the beginning of last year before he got hurt. I mean, he was a top 10 wide receiver before he went out. And they got a new offensive coordinator, Egbuka, coming in, he's obviously the Chris Godwin replacement. He's not the Mike Evans type receiver. So they're already looking ahead to the future and trying to get ahead of it right now. And Egbuka's a good player who can, do the same things Godwin did. What are you laughing? What you got going on over there?
Just laughing, man. Just laughing. Just seeing stuff.
What, did you lose some money? You had to have lost some money. That was a sarcastic laugh.
Nah, I'm losing money. I just look at our little list over here to my right. I just started laughing, man. But all right, then. So we agreed, man. Chris Godwin, obviously future related, but the Kraft man, he just still thinks another year of football relevancy. Let's slide over to another big loser from the draft. Dak Prscott, another loser in the draft, and this one is simple to me. And I'm not a big Jerry. I haven't been a big Jerry Jones hater the past few years. I know he gets hated on all the time, and he's done some dumb shit over the years too. You know what I'm saying? That I wouldn't.
They had a good draft.
But I don't really. Yeah, I was about to say their draft was solid, but the reason why Dak Prscott is a loser is because they just don't invest into. I mean, they invested in the O line
with one pick,
no running back help. With one pick, but no running back help. So you're probably looking at a running back game that ain't going to be good next year. You got CD, but you don't really have a number 2 guy, so no weapons really. Dak Prscott is just a clear loser. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not hating on Jerry Jones either. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Jerry Jones has kind of made some sound decisions the past couple of years, despite all the noise around him. But yeah, what say you, Kraft man?
Yeah, it was just the way the mock drafters had it kind of planned out for the Cowboys. Kind of got you excited before the draft, where it was Matthew Golden going over there, or even Ted McMillan falling there. And if that would have happened, Dak, we'd be talking about Dak like Trevor Lawrence or something as a big winner. Getting an extra receiver that can put up 1,000 yards. But I mean, while we're on Dak Prscott, might as well mention Jalen Tolbert, and that he looks like he's going to be the number 2 receiver for this team. So keep an eye on him. But as far as Dak goes, nothing has changed except for the running back room has gotten worse, and the offensive line has gotten worse. They did draft a guard in the first round, but they've lost some offensive linemen to retirement. They've lost some offensive linemen to free agency. So it's looking a little bit dire up there for Dak as far as being a very high end fantasy quarterback. Because there were some years where Dak was finishing like in the top 6 or 7 QBs on a given year. So it's I think those years might be done. But for CD, another year of just incredible, crazy target volume.
Yeah. In this situation, Kraft man, where Dak Prscott is the loser, everybody else is the winners. The wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, they're all winners. Dak Prscott is the loser. So,
do you think CD would have benefited from? I mean, maybe not a Ted McMillan, but just say if they went out and got a Jaden Higgins or somebody in the second round, like another receiver to. Are you one of those? Nah. Are you one of those that like to have the second guy on the team to kind of take some pressure off the wide receiver one, or are you just fine with CD where he's at?
I mean, I like both. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll put it like this. I probably like CD better how it is, but if they would have added somebody, I definitely wouldn't have been like, fade CD. Like, they cutting into CD. No. Like, I would have been like, okay, now they got another weapon. Now they might sustain drives better and score more touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit – I don't really panic. Not like that. He'd have to be old. Like, CD would have to be old.
How many targets does CD get next year? We're talking 200 targets? I mean – Who are they throwing the ball to?
It was just like last year. What I was saying last year, I said the Cowboys could lead the league in pass attempts. All right, it didn't work out last year, injuries and stuff. Running back, I think we're thinking the same thing this year. The Cowboys could lead this thing in pass attempts, and I would expect CD and Dak Prscott both to go off again. Same thing. As long as they're healthy, they're going to be fantasy top tier whatever assets, or players in your lineup.
Is CD the wide receiver 2 next year, drafted and redraft after Chase, or would you think about taking him over Chase? Full PPR might make a difference because CD might get more receptions.
I feel like you got to go Chase, but tough. I mean, I feel like Jefferson and CD is still tough. I don't really want to fade Justin
This
Jefferson
guy
like that.
got to be CD over Jefferson.
You would think, but I mean, yeah. But yeah, you would think, all right, I'm sliding over, man. Kirk. 20 heck, I'm just saying the time out loud because I like to write down my time steps for people who don't know. But Christian Kirk is a loser just because he was traded over. There was not a lot of invested in him to Houston, but it did look like he had a chance to have that starting slot role for the Houston Texans. He's a loser because the Houston, I keep forgetting his name every time.
Jalen Noel.
But
yeah.
In the third round, they drafted a wide receiver, plays his position with third round draft capital. So it looks like he's a big loser. And, maybe his role is just way more limited, but a good veteran presence nonetheless for the Houston Texans. But maybe not the role fantasy football wise we could have hoped for.
Yeah, I'm kind of back and forth with this one. Ian put it in and then kind of ditched out because he was tired, wanted to go to sleep. So I don't know if I agree with this. Jalen Noel, third round wide receiver. If he wins the spot, obviously Christian Kirk's a loser. But going from the Jaguars, and they just get Travis Hunter over there, to the Texans, who if he can replace Tank Dell and he is a starter for the whole year, I could see Christian Kirk having a good season with a good amount of targets. So it's really going to depend on how good Jalen Noel is as a player and how early and often they want to get him involved. But usually you see in the NFL, the veterans get the first crack at it. So if he goes out there and proves that he can play,
Right.
I mean, like Adam Thielen's still doing his thing over there in Carolina. You thought he'd been replaced years ago. Maybe Christian Kirk just has this resurgence with C.J. Stroud and ends up being a formidable flex play next year. You feel comfortable playing him. So I don't know if I agree with this one 100%.
Craftman a little back and forth on it. I would just say I think I do agree he's a loser, but I'm a Christian Kirk guy too, so I don't know. You're right though. It just depends on what happens. If he can win out in competition, honestly, you probably felt real good after the second round when they went Higgins. He was probably thinking, no way they're drafting, a slot wide receiver right after that. But so yeah, tough luck with that one. All right, let's go to a big name.
Wait. I got to ask you one thing.
Man.
No, this was just off the top of my head. I just thought about it right now. Does any of this affect Nico at all, or does it help?
No, man. I just think they need something more. You know what I'm saying? But if they didn't go out there and invest in wide receiver, we'd be looking at like a CD situation in Houston. So,
and Nico don't get moved around like CD does. So,
true, correct. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it probably helps it just because the offense can sustain drives. Not because you still want these offenses to get first downs and get touchdowns so you can have fantasy football opportunities. So I'm always for weapons most of the time. I mean, obviously with the Bears, somebody's going to be a loser in that situation. There's just so many weapons, but adding weapons ain't a bad thing all the time.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up before we moved on.
All right, well, let's bring it back to it. Chris Olave. I've been iffy on Chris Olave really the whole offseason. I won't touch him. Because while everybody talks about Tua Tagovailoa, ain't nobody talking about Olave like that. That dude missed the whole back half he missed the majority of the season with a concussion issue. Even if put that to a side, though, those were my reasons of being worried. But let's just pretend like that never happened. I mean, Derek Carr looks like he's going to be out. He didn't really have a good rapport with Derek Carr anyway. So basically, we got to hope that either Spencer Rattler beats out the second round quarterback Tyler Shuck, or we got to hope Tyler Shuck's about to go out there and be productive with the Saints. And I ain't saying, shit happens, crap, man. You already know. We wouldn't be surprised, but I would just say the likelihood of it just seems super unlikely, and it doesn't feel like – I've seen some trades with Chris Olave all year, man. Some craziness. But Chris Olave feels like the biggest loser of the offseason, period. That that talk about somebody's value who's dropped. Like if you put some names next to Chris Olave, I'd like to see how far. Can't wait for dynasty rankings. That dude ain't nowhere. He's way down there, dude. Like he took
Ricky Pearsall or Chris
super hit.
Olave.
Man, Pearsall. That's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, I just feel like his. Talk about somebody just being off of. I am more off of Chris Olave than any player in fantasy football right now. I'm just not feeling it. Quarterback situation, the quarterbacks that was there, you didn't have a good rapport with them.
Would you?
I mean, his value is name only at this point.
Would you trade Chris Olave for any second in 2026? Just a 2026 second.
I would try my best to work a second plus 2 seconds. But I mean, it ain't a bad idea. I mean, 2 seconds, I'm probably hitting that. It's
what if Tyler Shuck's a good quarterback?
I don't really see no upside. Well, see, that's what you're betting on. I'm just saying it's unlikely, but it could happen. I wouldn't be shocked. Not that I'm a Tyler Shuck expert. I didn't watch him that much, but it's like shit happens. I didn't think Josh Allen was all that.
Hey, admit it while you can, but with it just you know a value has been diminished when you hope that Derek Carr can come back and play and throw passes to Olave, and they didn't even have the best chemistry. But I would feel a little bit more comfortable if Derek Carr just some news came out and was like, oh, he's ahead of schedule with this surgery. He's going to be ready for week 1, blah, blah, blah. Like I would feel a little bit better about Olave, but this could – I mean, we are the podcast for buy lows. We will buy low on the shittiest of players. I mean,
right.
We're not opposed to calling out some names that nobody wants to hear about and say buy low on them. But Chris Olave might not even meet that criteria for us. So that kind of shows you how we feel as a podcast.
I would want to spend a 3rd round pick for Chris Olave. Nobody would ever accept that. And if I had Olave, I wouldn't accept it. So it's like, do I really want to pay a late second? Convince me. You might could convince me a late second, but
I'm holding.
If you could get just think, we saw Luther Burden for the 207 in our Dynasty League. And it's like, if I could trade Chris Olave for that, I would do that.
Yeah. I got an offer from my dad. It was Olave for ETN. And I kind of wish I'd have smashed that at this point.
Damn, that's crazy. That's a crazy trade.
Pretty fair.
Even this could be. Yeah. It definitely has you thinking. That's a good one. Shout out to Pops on that one. Hey, what'd you do? Just decline it?
Yeah. No, I probably should have said
that. Crab Man, you was asking why I was laughing earlier. And this right here was why I was laughing earlier. I just happened to kind of look over to my right and I seen Justin Tucker made our list. Crap, man. Explain. I did see Justin Tucker miss some field goals last year.
The Ravens drafted a kicker, I think, in the 6th round.
Sure did.
They drafted a kicker. Justin Tucker was on the struggle bus last year. He pulled some. This is speculation. We do not know. Him and Deshaun Watson been hanging out.
Hey, listen, man. Yeah, you know how it is, man. I'll defend until and you never know. I know he's gonna be getting demonized, but we'll just get controversial on YouTube now, like how we used to back in the Zoom days.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Matt. Don't do it.
I'm just saying, sometimes people be lying. I don't even know. So I ain't gonna judge and I ain't gonna say a word, but definitely a loser. Definitely a loser. You ain't winning, and you're not a winner today.
You're not a winner today. So I had to put that name in there. Nobody even plays kickers anymore in their fantasy leagues. And if you do, I respect you for that, because we still do that shit in our redraft leagues, because kickers mean a lot. They mean a lot in the NFL game.
I don't mind them for redraft. I like them for redraft. I don't like them for dynasty.
No, get them all. Dynasty. It's stupid for dynasty.
Oh, man. But yeah, Kraft, man. I mean, that was 8 losers for your ass. 9 if you count Justin Tucker, but he is
Which
a
I do.
loser. So I do too. But with that said, man, we say it every episode, man. Don't be a hoe and share the show, man. Nothing grows the show better than sharing it word of mouth. I mean, we anywhere you can listen to a podcast, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, other stuff. It's out there. Stuff that I don't even know. I just know it's on there. YouTube podcast, YouTube. But thanks for listening, Craftman. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, if you just started listening to us, we've been covering the rookies for a little while, but we pretty much get into everything. We do dynasty strategy, dynasty player values. We do everything dynasty. We do everything redraft, starting in about July, August, and then we into best ball. We in the best ball streets. And
have you already started?
No, I hadn't started best ball yet, but
Me neither.
Gambling too, man. Gambling. We're gonna be hitting that up in the regular season. So, we're gonna be dropping endless content. You're gonna be tired of seeing our faces by the time it's over with.
Yeah, man. Gambling's like the big thing, man. I feel like everybody loves that. And I can't wait to just dive in and just make some money because that's what it's all about here at the Fake Stuff Podcast. Because that's what we do, man. We like to win fantasy football leagues, but we like to win money. So, Craftman, that pretty much sums it up. But shit, I mean, we out.
Peace.